Chapter 6. I Meet the King and Queen. I was very ill now. "I think he is going to die," said the farmer. "I will show him more before he dies. Then I can make more money." He began to show me in the big cities. The first was Lorbrulgrud, the greatest city in Brobdingnag. The king lived there. He wanted the farmer to show me to the queen. Perhaps the queen will help me, I thought. The queen asked me some questions about my country and my travels, and I answered them. "Would you like to live here?" she asked me in her language. "Yes," I answered. "But I work for the farmer. I'm his servant. I'll have to stay with him." "Perhaps he will sell you to me," the queen answered. The queen bought me from the farmer for a lot of money. "Can his daughter work for you?" I asked the queen. "She's a good friend. I don't want to leave her." Glumdalclitch came with me and we were very happy. One day the queen took me to the king. He was very busy with his books and papers. He looked at me on his wife's hand, but only quickly. "So you like splacknucks now?" he laughed. The queen laughed with him and put me in front of the king. He asked me some questions, and I told him my name and about my travels. He sent for his men. They watched me, and they talked about me for hours. Then they spoke to the king. "This thing," they said, "is not an animal. It cannot fly or run very fast. It cannot climb trees or run away under the ground. It is not a very small person because it is smaller than the smallest person in the world. It is a thing, and nobody planned this thing. It is a mistake." I spoke to the king. "I'm not a thing," I said. "In my country, there are millions of men and women of my size. The animals, trees, and houses are the right size for us. We have our language, our ruler, and our laws." I told him about England and the other countries of Europe. He listened carefully. Then he sent his men away. "I want to hear more from this little man," he told the queen. "Build a house for him." The queen sent for the best woodworker in the country, and he made a box for me. He was a very good worker, and in 3 weeks I had a big room. It was about 5 meters long, 5 meters wide, and 3 meters high. It had 2 windows and a door. Glumdalclitch could open the top and clean the room. She took my bed out in the morning and put it in at night. The queen liked me very much. At dinner time, I sat at my table on her dinner table. The queen always cut my food as small as she could. Then I cut it again with my knife and ate it slowly. On Wednesdays, nobody worked, and every Wednesday, the king had dinner with his family. Then the king liked to have me and my table near him. He asked me questions about Europe and its people, its laws and ideas, and its rulers. I spoke to him about our wars, our great rich families, the fights between our churchmen, our rulers, and parliament. The king laughed and made a loud noise. He said to the queen, "Now we know that we are stupid. We think we are important people. But these funny little people think they are important. Perhaps they build a lot of houses in the same place and call them cities. Perhaps they fight and say bad things about one friend to another friend. Perhaps they are not very different from other people." Of course I was angry. How can he say these things about England, I thought. England is a good and great country. We win wars. Was I right when I was angry? To me, these people were not big and ugly and noisy now. Perhaps I will laugh at the people in my country when I see them again. The king was very interested. He often asked for me. I had to talk about my country, and I did that happily. My country, I told him, is really 3 great countries under 1 great ruler. The 3 countries are in 2 islands, but we also have places in America. But there were people in America before the Europeans went there, he said. Why don't these people have an American ruler? I tried to tell him the answer to this, but he could not understand. Then I told him about our English Parliament. It makes the laws for our country, I said. There are 2 houses in this Parliament. One is the House of Lords. Some great families have a place in this house. A father gives this place to his son when he dies. The House of Lords helps the king or queen. It discusses the laws from the other house, the House of Commons. The king had more questions. How do these men learn about? Very important men had the word Lord in front of their name the laws, he asked. It is difficult work. They have to know that a law is good for the country, and not for them. Do they learn these things when they are boys or young men? No, I answered. They learn when they go to the House of Lords. Before that, they learn to kill animals, and they learn to fight. The House of Commons is very different. The people of the country send men to it, and those men speak for them. Nobody pays them, but they want to help people. A new law first goes through the House of Commons, then the House of Lords discusses it. Sometimes the ruler wants more money from the people, and then he has to ask the House of Commons. How can the men in the House of Commons do this work for no money? The king asked again and again. Perhaps some men are bad. Perhaps they take money from people when they make a law. Perhaps they get more money from the people for the ruler or his friends. He did not understand my answers, so I told him other things about my country. I do not like, he said, to hear about wars. They cost your country a lot of money. Perhaps, my little Grildrig, you are now better than your little people because you know other places in the world. You are a good man, but sometimes stupid because, of course, your head is very small. I was angry. We are small people with small heads, I thought, but we know a lot of things in our country. I'll tell him about gunpowder. We have very clever men in my country, I began. They can make a dangerous powder. They push this powder into a long gun. Inside the gun there is a very hard ball. When you put fire near the powder, there's a loud noise. The powder pushes the ball from the gun, and the ball flies out very fast. When it hits something, it breaks it. A ball from the biggest gun will kill a lot of men, or it will break the strongest wall, or send the biggest ship to the bottom of the sea. Who can make this powder? The king asked me. A lot of people, from good schools, I said. I can make it. I can show your workmen and they can make big guns, perhaps 60 meters long. With 20 or 30 of these guns, you can break down the walls of the strongest town in your country in hours. Stop, the king said. Never speak of these things again. Don't talk about them to me or to anybody in my country, or you will die. This is strange, I thought. He is a good king, and he understands a lot of things. But sometimes people want changes, and he doesn't want to hurt anybody. What will he do when they don't want a king here? Your rulers, your men in parliament, and your clever men are not working for the people of your country, said the king. A good farmer, with his fruit or vegetables, helps his people better than them. Chapter 7. I Come Home Again. After 2 years in the country of Brobdingnag, the king and queen made a journey to the towns and cities of the south. I traveled with them in my box. We arrived near the sea. Glumdalclitch and I were very tired after our journey, but I wanted to see the sea again. Glumdalclitch, I said, we're tired, but I'd like to be outside. Let's go down to the sea. She called a boy. He carried my box and we went out. The boy was not very careful. I felt more ill than before. I'll sleep for a time, I told Glumdalclitch. She shut my windows and my door. Then I went to sleep. Suddenly I woke up because the box moved. Up and very fast. I moved to a window and opened it. I looked out, but I could see nothing. Only sky. Then I knew. One of the country's great seabirds is carrying me away, I cried. When it's near its home, it will break my box. Then the bird will carry me to the young birds for food. My box began to move faster and faster, up and down. Through the window, I saw 2 other birds. They began to fight with my bird, and it could not carry me. I fell into the sea with a loud noise, and I went down, under the dark water. Then, suddenly, my box came up again to the top of the water and stayed there. I'm not dead, I cried, and the water isn't coming in. But what's going to happen to me? How can I get out? Will I die because I'm hungry or thirsty or cold? Will great winds break my box? One day I heard a loud noise. Something pulled my box up about a meter, and I could hear the sound of people. So I shouted in different languages. Something or somebody moved the top of the box, and then I heard, in English, the words, "Is anybody there?" "Yes," I shouted. "I'm an Englishman. Please help me." "Your box is now near our ship," he answered, "and one of our men is going to break it. Then you can climb out." "No, don't, wait," I called. "Pull the box out of the water and put me on a table." The men laughed. When I was out of the box and in the ship, I understood. They were not bigger than I was. "Why are you shouting?" asked one man. "Do you know the country of Brobdingnag?" I asked him. "There the people are very, very big, more than 20 meters tall." One had to shout, or they couldn't hear me. I was there before my journey in the box. "This can't be true," he said. So I showed him the things in my box. When he saw a tooth from one of the king's servants, he laughed. It was nearly half a meter long. "Please, can I have it?" he asked. After that, he was kind to me. "When you're in England again, you'll have to write down your story," he said. Then I traveled home to my family. It was strange in a world with people of my size. Am I in Lilliput again? I thought. I could not see my wife and children because I always looked up at the sky. I had to do this in Brobdingnag when I wanted to see people's faces. My family and friends talked about me. "He's ill after his travels," said one friend. "He isn't going to see again," said my wife. But I traveled again, and you will read about that journey in my next story. Chapter 8. Whinhums and Yahoos. I stayed in England with my family for some months, but then I wanted to travel again. I left England in my ship in September 1710. For a month we had a good wind. Then it died and we could not move. The seamen were all ill. I have to find more men, I thought. I'll go to the island of Barbados. There I found men, but the idea was a mistake. These men and mine took the ship. They put me in a small room and tied me to my bed. "There's a man outside your door," they said. "Don't come out or he'll kill you. We have your ship now, so we can fight other ships and take things from them." They brought me food and drink, and I stayed in that room for a long time. Then, one day, a great wind took the ship out of our way. In May 1711, the other men saw a beach and they took me to it in the ship's small boat. "What country is this?" I asked them. They said nothing and left me there. I began to walk away from the sea. I had my sword with me, and I was happy about that. When I came to a road, I walked carefully. I was afraid of arrows. I saw some animals near the road and other animals up in the trees. They were very dirty and very ugly. The bigger animals had a lot of hair on their heads, their faces and their backs, and on the front of their legs and feet. The smaller animals had longer hair on their heads, but not much hair on their bodies. Their hair was different colors: brown, red, black, and yellow. I hated these animals. When I looked at them, I felt ill. I walked again. Perhaps I will meet some men and they'll help me, I thought. Suddenly I met one of these ugly animals on the road. He stopped and looked hard at me. This made his face uglier. He put out his front foot and I hit him with my sword. "You will not hurt me, you ugly animal," I cried. I did not want to hurt him too much. But he made a loud noise and about 40 more animals ran to him. They shouted at me and made angry noises. I moved to a tree and stood with my back to it. I used my sword, but some animals climbed up the tree. From there, they threw things down at me. Suddenly, the animals all ran away quickly. I left the tree and started on the road again. Why are they so afraid? I thought. Then I saw the answer to my question. It was a horse. He saw me and stopped in front of me. Then this horse looked carefully at my face and hands and feet. He walked round and round me. I tried to walk away, but he stopped again in front of me. I put my hand on his back. We do this in England when we meet a strange horse. But the horse did not like it. He put up his left front foot and pushed away my hand. Then he made the sounds of a horse again and again, but each sound was different. Is he speaking a language? I thought. Another horse arrived, and the two horses made noises. They're having a conversation, I thought. I was a little afraid, and I began to walk away. But the first horse, a gray horse, made a sound. I understood. He wanted me stop. The two horses came near me and looked carefully at my face and hands. The gray horse moved my hat with his right foot and it fell to the ground. I put it on again. The other horse, a brown horse, felt my coat, then my clothes. He hurt me and I shouted loudly, "I'm an Englishman. Please, can I sit on your back and go to a town or village?" The two horses began to talk about me again in their horse language. One word made the sound, Yahoo. I tried to say it too. Then I said it to the horses. The gray horse said the word again and again. I repeated it, but not very well. The brown horse gave me a second word, a more difficult one. Hoinhum. I tried it 2 or 3 times. The last time was better. One horse talked to the other horse. About me, I think. And the brown horse went away. The gray horse told me, "Walk in front of me." I followed him. Sometimes I walked too slowly and he cried, "Hoon, hoon." I'm tired and I can't walk faster. I showed him. Can I sit on the ground? Then the horse stood quietly and I sat down. We traveled for 5 kilometers before we arrived at a house. I began to look for people. They teach their horses well in this country, I thought. Now I'll meet the owner of this fine horse and he can help me. But there were no people in the first room of the house, only horses. I followed the horse into the second room, then the third room. I waited for people. The gray horse made a sound, and a smaller horse and 2 young horses came. They looked at me. This is the horse's house, I thought. The gray horse is the owner, and these are his wife and children. The servants are horses too. But how can this be true? The wife looked at me in an unfriendly way. She turned to the gray horse and spoke to him. I heard the word Yahoo. He moved his head and said, "Hoon, hoon." So I followed him. We went to another house, and in it there were 3 of those ugly, hairy animals. They could not leave because there was strong string round them. The other end of the string was in the wall. The gray horse called a young red-brown horse, a servant, and the servant untied one of the animals. He put that ugly, hairy animal next to me. The owner and his servant looked carefully at the animal, then at me. Again, I heard the word Yahoo. Then I understood. This ugly animal was not very different from a man. He had front feet and I had hands. My feet and the Yahoo's feet were the same. The horses could not see that, because I wore shoes. Our bodies were the same too. But the horses could not see that because I wore clothes. The red-brown horse gave me different foods. The Yahoos ate meat, but I could not eat it. It was too hard and dirty. Then the horse gave me horse food, but it was too dry for me. I'll have to meet some men, I thought, or I'll die. And these Yahoos are not men. I put my hands to my mouth. I am thirsty. The horses gave me milk. Later I made bread from the dry horse food. Sometimes I caught a bird or a small animal and ate that. With this food and some fruit from the trees, I lived a very good life. I was never ill on that island. At night, the gray horse, I will call him my owner, talked to his servants about me. They found a place for me near the horse's house and not too near the Yahoos. I slept there. Chapter 9. The Life of the Howinhums. I wanted to learn the language of these horses, the Howinhums. The gray horse, his family and his servants wanted to teach me. Why? Because they wanted the answer to this important question. Can an animal, me, think? My owner wanted to learn about me, so he gave a lot of time to me. You do not walk on your front feet. Why not? He asked. We call them hands, I told him, and we don't walk on them in my country. Your nose is too big. It is the right size for men of my age. The yahoos work for us on the farm, but they do not work well. Nobody can teach them. You are a good yahoo. You learn and work well. But I'm not a yahoo, I said angrily when I heard this. I hate these ugly, dirty animals. You hate them, and I hate them too. Please don't call me a yahoo. My owner wanted to know a lot of things, and he asked me a lot of questions. Where do you come from? Who taught you to think? Nobody can teach the yahoos to think. I came over the sea from another country in a ship. You make ships from wood, I told him. The other men on the ship brought me here and went away. It is not possible, he answered. No animal can make something from wood and go across the sea in it. Your words are a mistake. I could not understand these last words. Later, I understood. There is no word in the Houyhnhnm's language for untrue. They use language because they want somebody to understand. When the speaker's words are not true, the words are stupid. They are a mistake because the hearer cannot understand him. So, why did the speaker speak? We talked again and again. Who are the rulers in your country? He asked me. You call them yahoos, I answered. Do you have Houyhnhnms there? Yes, I said. We call them horses. There are many horses in my country. Yahoo servants look after them. They give them food and make their beds. We like horses. They are strong and they run well. We sit on them when we travel, and they run and jump for us. How can you use them in that way? Asked my owner angrily. The Houyhnhnms use yahoos. They work on the farms, they pull things and carry things. There are houses for them, but the houses are not too near the horses' houses. When they are not working, they stay outside. The yahoos love to be dirty, and the Houyhnhnms cannot understand that. Other animals like to be clean. I was clean. In this way, I was different from the yahoos. The Houyhnhnms saw this and liked me for it. One day, I talked to my owner about the wars in my country. We had a long war with another country, France, I told him. More than 1 million men died. Why do you have wars? He asked. Sometimes the rulers want more cities, I answered. Then a strong country fights a weak country. The winner takes the weak country, and then the other people are his servants. But you yahoos cannot hurt other people with your teeth, he said. Our yahoos hurt other yahoos in this way. Your words are a mistake. I told him about the guns and gunpowder in my country. We can kill a lot of people with one big gun. He stopped me. I do not like our yahoos, he said. But they do not think. They are stupid. They fight for food, for the best places, or because they want to fight. You yahoos can think, so why do you fight? That is worse. He's calling us yahoos again, I thought. I'll tell him about the good things in my country. So I talked for a long time about our parliament, our rulers, our laws, and our clever men and women. There is no word for bad in the Houyhnhnms' language, but they use the word yahoo when a worker is stupid, a sevendabram yahoo, for a child's mistake, wanahom yahoo, for strong winds and heavy rain. They use it when they cut their feet. They use it when they hate something. The Houyhnhnms teach their young horses well. The young horses have to be clean, friendly, and kind, and they have to work hard. They have to be strong and well. Every 4 years, the young Houyhnhums from everywhere in the country meet for games and running and jumping. When a horse wins, a friend sings a song about him or her. Every 4 years, too, there is a meeting. Then the heads of families talk about the country's important problems. Chapter 10. I Come Home Again. 3 years after I arrived in this country, the gray horse came back from a meeting. His face was very sad. He said to me, "The other Houyhnhums are not happy. You are better than a Yahoo because you can learn. They know that. But you cannot live in my family because you are not a Houyhnhum. They are afraid. One day perhaps the Yahoos will fight us and you will help them. They say you have to leave my house. I do not like this, but please find some wood. Make that thing and travel in it across the sea. We will help you. You have to go." I was as sad as my owner. I liked the Houyhnhums. They were very kind and they were good friends. They love everybody in their country, not only their families. They do not marry for love, they marry for strong children. I wanted to stay there with them. When I thought about my family and friends in England, I thought, in many ways they're as bad as the Yahoos here. I don't like my face or body now. I don't want to go home. I don't want to be a Yahoo. I fell down at the feet of my owner. For a time, I wanted to die. Then I got up and said, "I understand. You and the other Houyhnhums are right. I'm a stupid Yahoo. I'll leave your country." "Thank you," answered my owner. "You can have 2 months, then you will have to go. Which servants can help you?" "The young red-brown horse likes me," I said. "He and I can build the boat." In 6 weeks, we made a light boat from wood. We put food and milk and water into it. On 15th February, 1715, I was ready. Early in the morning, my owner and his family came down to the water and watched. The gray horse cried and put his front foot to my mouth. When I moved out to sea, I heard the red-brown horse. He called in his language, "Be careful, good Yahoo!" I was on the sea for many days. I wanted to go to India, but I could not find that country. I was nearly dead when I saw a ship. The Yahoos on the ship were good men, but I felt ill when I looked at them. I wanted to jump into the sea. "I cannot live with Yahoos," I cried. But a man stopped me and tied me to my bed. They spoke to me in the Portuguese language. I know this language well, and I could understand them. This was very strange for me. After 2 or 3 days, I began to feel better, and I told them about the Yahoos. "This cannot be true," they cried. I was angry. After my time in the country of the Houyhnhums, I could only speak true words, but they listened to my story again. They thought carefully about it and said, "This is possible." I traveled on this ship to Lisbon. There I found a ship for England. It was very difficult for me. I had to learn to live with men again. In many ways, they are not different from Yahoos. But I don't want to live with Yahoos, I cried. I want to live with good, kind Houyhnhums. I hate dirty Yahoos, and I hate bad Yahoos. My people make me angry when they are unkind to horses. I bought 2 horses. I understand them well, and they understand me. I talk to them every day. They are good friends. I can never forget the wonderful Houyhnhums.